Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief Recap. We'll just wait for YouTube to kick in here and we'll get going. Hello, everyone. It looks like we're doing our thing. I should probably sit close to the microphone, please. We need a director here. All right. And of course, we've got the Duke of Albuquerque driving the bus here this morning. So if you hear a bling in the background, that's Kevin saying, "Move it along, Mr. Beamish. We got to keep on schedule here." Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Frivolity. It is Monday, the 9th of September here. Just right off the bat, quick hearty congratulations to Peter. Won our broiler chickens show competition, our raffle for a seat in the upcoming level 1 program that's starting this week. And Peter, we got lots of accolades from other people congratulating you. Way to go. Did send you a message, just sent it a few minutes ago. Don't disappear on me here. I need you to respond to the email address and send us your contact information. All I have is Peter Sachs. There isn't really any more information here for you. So if you could send me an email, and we'll get you set up on the school program and ready to rock this thing. So congratulations again to Peter, and way to go on your luckiness. Right out of the gate, of course, for these 10-15 minute summaries, I put together a nice little chart deck here. So we'll just quickly go through this and give you an idea of sort of what I'm seeing in the market. First and foremost, of course, we had the US dollar index fractal out last week, suggesting down, and that seems to be continuing. Is it a function of sort of relative calm out of the people of Hong Kong? I don't know. Is it sort of trade talks are resuming with the Trump administration and Chinese Beijing? I don't know. Those things can't hurt. This US dollar index historically is sort of a risk-off asset. If all hell's breaking loose, everybody just runs into the US dollar index. So if anything, seeing it come off here a little bit, it's probably a good sign. Out of Europe, and keep in mind that euro as well as British pound, they do make up a huge chunk of this US dollar index. They've been working their way higher. We had a cool report from Josh, who is on the ground in the UK this morning through Daily Brief, sort of giving us an update on the Brexit situation. And frankly speaking, I'm more confused now that after his update than before. But long and short of it here, I think the market also is very confused. Megaphone patterns, expanding wedges, whatever you want to call them. Lots of volatility in sort of our short setups. I've talked to you in the previous free shows. I think that they were politely told to exit their positions at small profits. So I think on balance that makes sense. Interesting though, risk on, risk off kind of idea. Sort of further validating that risk is back on kind of conversation in the world. We're seeing things like the classic sort of anti-risk proxy. The gold market is looking a bit heavy up top here. More importantly, through the Daily Brief today, I pointed out that the gold stocks themselves are looking very dangerous. I don't know whether we're quite ready to call shorts here yet, or whether this is just still in the process of topping out. Through our conversation today, I sort of painted the fact that we really ought to come back to 38.2 fibs. You see we have, previous key highs, previous key lows, a whole bunch of lows in here. You can see the market ran into these levels first thing this morning and is sort of pausing a little bit. My hunch is we have to wait for Mr. Burchett's 38.2 level to be resolved before we make any sort of grand conclusions about trend going forward. It's interesting to see internally, nasty price momentum failures here. MACD bearish divergences. RSI trendline breaks. RSI now below 50 level. Big old M's coming in on both RSI and MACD here on this failure. So I think for the time being, the gold bull is on the shelf. Now, it's a very realistic possibility that we don't head and shoulders out here. We could very easily just, paint like a multiple higher lows and continue on our way down the road. The only problem with this thesis is that seasonally, we're coming into a very dangerous time of year for the gold and silver. And on the site, of course, I'm throwing around seasonality studies like this, where to me it looks like we're in sort of the latter stages of this very normal seasonal rally. I don't think it's a good idea to chase the gold and silver market up top here. If anything, if you are a gold bug, you just want to sit and patiently wait for whatever the seasonal bottom is that usually comes in around the middle of November. So that's sort of what my thinking is right at the moment. Now, like I said, we might just go sideways for a month or two and then get into November and away we go. But new purchases, especially with these momentum failures, I think you just got to cool your jets. You heard the bling? That means I got to do my zing. So we talked just a little bit there about US dollar index and, things like British pound. Japanese yen is coming off a chunk. I often talk about this chart analysis. I don't know whether Bitcoin's a risk on or risk off asset. They seem to be moving opposite of the market right now. The oil market is enjoying a really nice rally here. They're restructuring their sort of oil ministry over there in Saudi Arabia. So, sort of further validating that idea. If oil is moving up, and you can kind of see W's coming in across the board here, Saudi ministers saying they're going to, curtail production and all that kind of fun stuff. Maybe that helps the gold market calm down a little bit. But I've often seen that gold and oil have a hard time moving in the same direction together, and oil's looking very uppy here. See, I won't go into stock market today too much. Talked lots about stocks recently. I thought, we did a really cool sort of exercise on Litecoin and Ethereum through the Broiler Chicken show yesterday. And those bottoms technically are just sitting there. There is the Litecoin bottom we talked about. There's the double bottom there. But also, too, I was going through the rags this morning. Really, fun sites. This site, FTX, is kind of a lot of fun. And we were picking apart these charts on this site in particular, and this one name. And this is what I really want to see, right? Hopefully everybody can see here. The buying volume is just ramping up big time here. So this is what we want to see for us to know that bottoms are really in, is we want to see the buyers come back. So, to that end, I think I still have it on here. I really like this site as sort of a nice crypto feed. Kevin showed me this morning because, frankly speaking, I don't see anybody talking about crypto across the major news wires, things like FinViz and, Market Watch and this CoiFin stuff. Nobody's talking about crypto here. So, going to the very specific crypto news sites, what is driving that EOS? And I was really pleased to see that we're starting to see signs that the bigger boys in this space are actually coming on board these names. So, is there a reason why things like EOS are jumping up? Well, Mr. Draper here has said that he wants to get involved in this name. And I think those are the kind of catalysts that are actually going to start marking the bottom. We're going to start to see volume coming in. Now, keep in mind, this is a perpetual forwards contract. It's not a futures contract. I wish these silly sites would lose this future label because they're not futures. But that's another conversation for another day. Is this maybe a bit of, trader hype here on this forwards contract? I don't know. But, if we just look across the board, there is that EOS. You can see it's starting to perk up. There is the double bottom. Really good analogy here of wicks and tails like to be eaten. So he left that monstrous tail and the market worked its way all the way down, ate up most of it, and then turned back up. And you can see it's on a little bit of buying volume on the cash market. Not a good idea to chase. I don't think it's in anybody's best interest to pay up here. But you could definitely, if you were interested, you could definitely come in. You can see some gaps off the lower time frames. there is the buy level. If we just do simple fibs, going from highs back to lows, something along those lines, and do reload zones, gee whiz, what a coincidence, reload zones, right where the gaps are and right where the original double bottom is. You want to get super sexy, sneaky, maybe try and work your bids off of these tails. I don't know, that's up to you. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make here is that we are starting to see some actual W's coming in the market. It's very encouraging. And you can see when this guy W's, look, down, kaboom! And then down, up, kaboom! Down, up, kaboom! Look at all these W's. I mean, this thing responds really nicely to W's. So that's an encouraging sign. You know, we haven't seen this kind of action in altcoin land in quite a while. So that's really good to see. And I'm seeing it across a bunch of names. You know, the Bitcoin chart itself, you know, our basic message, we also had Skjord on today giving his perspective. I'm hearing over and over and over again, you know, with regard to Bitcoin, it's just a big hurry up and do nothing. You've heard me talk lots about the fact that I think we're still stuck in this trading range. And yes, Brian is thinking that we still need to come down a little bit further and hit this 50% roll. We'll see what happens. Only time will tell. But for the time being, this coil here is still just coiling away. Now, this could be a good thing for the altcoin market. Because quite often when Bitcoin's going through its face rip, of course, nobody's interested in alts whatsoever. Then, you know, if Bitcoin's going, you know, face melting down, obviously nobody's going to be interested in alts. But we often get these funny little windows where if Bitcoin's stuck in a trading range and it's just sort of bumping along sideways, it opens up the window for opportunity within the altcoin space. And that's kind of what I think I see going on here. So Bitcoin's still playing with this trend line. Huge lesson for everybody. Don't take a trade at a trend line. You're just asking for trouble. Let this resolve. And unfortunately, in the very short term, we've actually resolved to the downside. We had a whole bunch of triangles and diamonds and stuff. Let's see, where did I have that chart on here? Fudge. Anyway, talked about it through the daily brief, all that kind of stuff. And unfortunately, you know, Bitcoin did lose the diamond low. If we just zoom in here, this one bar here created a bit of a diamond. We go down to like lower time frames. There was that diamond. So the diamond, you basically have to, you know, I'll just quickly eyeball this. Something along the lines like that, and like that, and like that, and like that. So in essence, the diamond, you have to watch the bottom and the top very closely, and you can see how we've broken through those lows there. So that's not really that good of a sign. And of course, there is that crazy trend line, and our rule is we have to see a W on the other side of the trend line. Now, maybe if we're really lucky, these lows hold and we turn back up and we can start Wing out here. But the fact that we lost these lows, that's generally not a good sign. So still thinking Bitcoin's stuck in its range, not really ready to rock and roll either direction. And really, I, in all honesty, I think it's still just a question of us resolving 38.2s here, right? If I change this to 38.2. You see how that's basically our low. So Mr. Burchett, Ray Barbecue, as we affectionately call him, the level on the site, that battle is still going on, and it wouldn't surprise me if we had candle body levels, trade location, wicks and tails like to be eaten. If we crap out here, I think you have to expect a test of these lows here. So on balance, I like the idea of Bitcoin just sort of stuck in a range. You know, if you are a Bitcoin bull, let's see some W's on the other side of this trend line. For the time being, I think it's just a hurry up and do nothing kind of market state right here at the trend line. We got to let this resolve either one way or the other. And of course, as we said, the buying interest, the volume pressure here is like non-existent here. So we're kind of in drift mode. That does open the opportunity for little alts that have fundamental drivers pushing price. things like big wigs taking positions and coming on board of companies in this space, I think is excellent sort of catalyst. And really, my suggestion to you is just get out there and hunt those W's. They say it's interesting. Some of the OGs in Twitter, I put tweets out this morning. They are kind of like, I put tweets out sort of like things are kind of starting to look uppy, and you can see lots and lots of interest in that tweet. And the comments are sort of like, yeah, everybody's gone. There's nobody here. It's all, everybody's left. Right? And that's the irony of it all, of course, is that's when the professionals are very active and they're hunting. And then when these things pop up, then of course the public comes in and buy. So try and build your trading plan, get yourself all rocking and rolling, because this is one of these opportunities where I think, and of course it's just Brian's opinion, but I think opportunity is now here in the altcoin space. Be very selective, hunt those setups, follow your risk management rules religiously. If the trade fails, walk away, no opinion, no emotion. Next bus in 10 minutes. But as I said, there's a bit of profit opportunity sitting here in altcoin land right now. Okay, I think we'll leave the summary at that. Congratulations, Peter, again on winning the contest. And it's not too late to join the Level 1 program if you're still sort of sitting on the fence. Just reach out to us and we'll be more than happy to help you and get you all set up. All right, have yourselves a great day. All the best, everybody, and bye for now.